Hello, my friends over at face2facegames.com. This is Travis Semulin Sowers. We're jumping into a best of 3 Adventures in Forgotten Realms draft. Act 1's pretty quick, but I'm picking the Dragon Turtle as the rare over 2 premium removal spells and over the Green Dragon, because I think this is basically a 5-mana 3/5 that you get to bring into play a little bit earlier and get like a free Frost Breath off of. I've been pretty impressed with this card in the times that I've seen it. There's also kind of this general consensus that blue is bad in this set. So if I have to position myself in a color, I kind of want it to be blue because I expect a lot of people will pass me blue cards. Here, I think our best bet is probably the Hunter's Mark with a nod toward Trilasara. I have seen Druid class wheel, and Green-White Life Gain is a fantastic deck. But Hunter's Mark is just wonderful. Like, they don't have to be playing blue for this to be good. Today's draft, and most of the drafts you'll be seeing here, are brought to you by face2facegames.com. Did you know there's a paper version of this video game, and you can buy the cards from Face to Face and play it with your friends? They've also got plenty of other gaming supplies, so check them out, if you will. All right, and now we're beginning to move into the meat of the draft. I usually say that drafts start around pick 4 or 5, so there's no need to have decided what we're doing just yet. I think this one's coming down to the uncommons. There's not a common here that's particularly strong, and I think I like Rally Maneuver. It doesn't go with either of the 2 cards we've picked before, and it'd feel kind of stupid to get into green-white after passing the Trilasara, but c'est la vie. Like, what are we going to do? We can just take the good cards that are getting passed. I also think Ray of Enfeeblement is certainly main deckable. I've been happy with that. And I do like Contact Other Plane. Feels a little early to take it. I also really like Find Some Prisoners. A lot of people in chat will refer to any card that can draw a card as cycling, and that irritates me because, like, a cycling card needs to have a narrow effect and be able to draw a card. And that's exactly what You Find Some Prisoners does. It can blow up an artifact, or it can draw you a card from your opponent's deck, but like it's pretty good at least hitting land drops, which is usually what you're looking for at a 2-mana cycler. Now we've got a bit of a question, don't we? We've got Targnar, who I like quite a bit. We've got Brunor Battlehammer, which I like quite a lot, and an Evolving Wilds, which everyone likes quite a lot. And I've had some really good decks with both of these uncommons. I think they're both quite good. If I take Targ, I probably get the Hunter's Mark. If I take Brunor, I probably get the Rally Maneuver. I'm going to go with Brunor, but I think you could flip a coin here. I think Targnar needs less to go right for him to work. I think when the things that Brunor needs to go right, Brunor's better. And if one of them's good, probably taking the other one. But like I said, pick 5, the draft starts. All right, I think this puts us probably firmly in red-white. And I should have taken the Incinerate initially. And I didn't, and I'm bad, and I feel bad, but it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. I'm usually very happy with 1 Plundering Barbarian in my red decks. Sometimes happy with as many as 2. The flexibility of blow up an opponent's artifact versus ramp yourself temporarily is very handy. Now, I'm going to take the Delver's Torch here, which is rough for me because I really like Bag of Holding, but I think we're going to get into an aggressive red-white equipment deck. Having seen the 2 Brunors, I have to believe that that will be open for us. Whereas Bag of Holding, I love in something like green-blue. Now, I mentioned earlier, and we've got some time to talk now as the picks are kind of wearing a bit thin, that a lot of people don't like blue. I've been having a lot of success with it, but it's in playing cards like Bag of Holding, which I can usually get pretty late, because it seems like nobody else wants them, and just playing 18 lands. I have a bunch of mana sinks, plenty of those little 2/1s that you can use to draw a card in the late game, just tons of stuff to do with mana, play 18 lands, and then a few things to filter through those lands like a Bag of Holding. I don't think I would get out of this. If I did, it might be because that Trilasara wheels. I don't really want to play the Half-Elf Monk in this deck, but we could. What I want is just like 5 2-drops. And this is another thing in that blue deck, and I realize I'm giving you tips for a deck I don't think I'm drafting, although I may just take this anyway because I don't think I want the price of loyalty. But there's a 3-mana creature that ramps you in blue. If you're playing 18 lands and those, and then have a Bag of Holding or some onboard mana sinks, it's not ridiculous to think you're going to be casting these. Yeah, I guess I'm still taking this. Like, I suppose we could be blue-white, but this is really just what I want now. And a couple good equipments, but we'll find them. The boots ain't half bad either. They ain't quite what I want, you know? I think 3 is about the number of equipments you need to make this work, and I'm pretty happy with 1 copy of Delver's Torch. But now we can start, now that we've got these champions and are feeling a little bit more confident that we can do this, we can start taking things like the Rapier, the Paladin Shield, equipments that aren't really that great on their own, but if we're getting buffed here and we can equip them for free, all of a sudden they're nice. And improvised weaponry will get the job done too. There's another 2-drop if we need it. We only got 8 cards, but like, we have identified what we're doing now. And we've got some playables in the size board. I don't think this deck really wants to be playing either of these, but it could. So how many Brunors is too many? Like, do they just become Brew Snores at a certain point? Because I feel like I'm pretty happy with 2. At 3, like, what am I doing? I kind of want to find out, man. Like, that just seems fun to me. Because now I can just take literally every equipment we see and not have to worry about equip costs or anything. Because it's gonna be free. It's free real estate is what I'm trying to say. All right, 2-drops are generally very good with this strategy as well. We will want to overload on those. Would not mind additional combat tricks and removal. Trickster's Talisman is a card I've changed my mind on some. You do need to get ahead for it to be good, but if you're in blue and copying things like Air Cult Elemental, man, I feel like that meme, right? Like, I'm here, and there's Brunor standing next to me, and I'm looking over there at blue cards. I'll stop talking about the blue deck and just draft what we're actually drafting. Swarming Goblins, eh? That's not a bad top end. This is kind of expensive removal, but sometimes there is crap you just need to get out of the way. I bet this deck could play a Great Axe. I also bet I can wheel it. But, like, if I'm equipping it for 0, +4/+0 is crazy. But I do want to make sure we can get bad guys out of the way. Okay, we are getting stocked on 2-drops, which is good. This is another one I like quite a bit. But I think now we could play as many as 4 equipments. I kind of like the Goblin Horde or whatever card because it can give you a bunch of bodies. I think we'd be very excited to see something like a Morning Star, which is an equipment that comes with its own body and gives things trample. I think there's a strong possibility we'd play that Great Axe, which might make me want a flyer or 2 if we could find them. I didn't think I'd have the problem of how many legendary characters can I fit in a draft deck. Back in my day, legendary characters were rare, and we liked it that way. This be missing a few things we're wanting, eh? How you gonna pass me 2 Brunor Battlehammers and then have red-white not be open? I don't quite have enough equipments yet that I want a Goblin Javelineer. There is a world where I need to play another combat trick, though, so we'll take that. I don't think I'm going to want a Potion of Healing. I do want a Battlecry Goblin. I also want a +2 Mace, but not as much as I want a Battlecry Goblin. This card's a little unfair. Y'all remind me, we'll get the equipment in the next pack. I still think I'm going to wheel that Great Axe. Hey, here's one. We can take that. It's really good on this and pretty good on the rest of our stuff. It's a late Wilds, too. I think what we may be experiencing is that red-white is open, but white isn't particularly open. Because the pieces we're getting for this deck that are white are Brunor, which would have to be paired with red, and the Dwarfhold Champion, which if you're not going nuts on equipment, I mean, it's still a 3-1. It's fine. The Eye of Vecna. I don't think I liked the Eye that much. If I can spend life to draw cards, I don't think that's what I'm wanting to do. I also am not convinced we're going to clear the dungeon. I could sort of see playing a critical hit as like another combat trick and finisher. I don't think I want 2 fireballs. I want to put the critical hit over there. But it has disappeared. We've certainly got room for a bugbear. This is a bug you'll bump into every once in a while. Just kind of move things around. Now that Great Axe should be in the next pack, I think. And it did not wheel. Okie dokie. So if we need to, we can play Boots of Speed. Who went after the Great Axe? Or did I just entirely miss it? I suppose that's possible. Yeah, I don't think an Urnikern is exactly the creature we want to play, but we could. And again, same with the Javelineer. But I think the deck's good. We'd just like to add some upgrade pieces if we can. Dragonfire is certainly very welcome here. So is getting into black. I've gotten to play with the gelatinous cube a couple times, and this card is real good. Everything you've heard about it is true. But Dargan's Fire will get the job done for us. Planar Ally, Jaded Sellsword. I like the Planar Ally. It may look like it doesn't quite fit here, but it gives us something to do with 5 mana, which is cool. Like, we may play 16 lands, but I'm expecting that we'll get to that level of mana at a certain point. And just having an evasive threat is pretty freaking nice. Not to mention, you can kind of speedrun the Tomb of Annihilation with the Ally. So I think we're taking this. I really do want like one solid equipment, and I was convinced we were going to spin that Great Axe. I'd have to say it would have been great in this deck. This is water with a splash of cranberry juice, not vodka cranberry. Just in case you were wondering. All right, so we've got a pair of goblins, which is kind of a combat trick. Sort of. I mean, it's a finisher in a token-heavy deck, but I like that it can be bodies for equipment, or what's the rallying card? I can never remember the name of this. If we've got good attacks, we can just potentially kill people with it. I also like one more Planar Ally, but I think given that we don't have a lot to do on 3, and there's worlds where I would just want to play Raise the Alarm for an extra mana, that we take this here. I think we can play the Boots of Speed and be still okay with our equipment selection, but I'd really like one more. Yeah, and I ain't gonna get it here though, am I? Alright. I've been okay with the Valor Singer. It can enable some attacks that you don't normally have. Like, say you go Hobgoblin Captain into this. You can get your first strike pretty quick and get an extra point of damage in. And I guess I could still use a couple more 3s. I could still use one more 2. Realistically, I think this deck would like 6. Oh, there's a 2. That's a good one. I would also like to have Burning Hands, and I think this deck would be interested in Barbarian class. But now my creature base is good. Pass me one okay. My creature base is a little better than good now. My creature base is interesting. Why is there another Battlecry Goblin? That's really good at closing out games. I see the Dragonfire, and I want the Dragonfire, but I think we've got a little something brewing here. Leather boots, leather boots, leather boots. Like a magic missile. That can go face. I don't really want leather armor, but I think we're probably jamming this boots of speed. And kind of sad we don't have a great axe, but it's okay. This has been quite the draft. I was not anticipating it to end up the way that it did, but we've kind of got a goblin theme deck and ways to pump them. And I don't, like, this deck is almost mono red. I play a half-elf monk for a mana sink if I want one, but I kind of like this. The last few times I've played Brunor, I've had a bunch of expensive equipments to move around with him, and I kind of don't have that now, but he's still a 4-mana 5/3 that the opponent should be threatened by. But this deck went from being what I thought was going to be a Brunor deck, where we're moving equipments around and doing shenanigans like that, to kind of a goblin theme deck. Like, honestly, if I could cash one of these in for the dude that summons goblin tokens, I think I'd do that now. All right, I said we'd be interested in barbarian class. Let's see how we can fit this in, because I think we're interested in barbarian class. I think I would like to run an 8/8 mana base, but I'm not sure what my 2 cuts would be. So we're going to have to put on our thinking cap here. I'm running 16 creatures and 3 equipments. And I generally speaking like the equipments that we have. All of my 2-drops, okay, we'll update, don't you worry. All of my 2-drops are pretty freaking good with the equipment, so if we have to cut something, it may need to be this Valor Singer. I could cut a Valor Singer and maybe trim an improvised weaponry. No, I kind of want to keep the improvised weaponry and do something like 9/8 and then lean on that treasure. Because like most of my 2-drops are red. My mana sinks are red. I've got a double red 3-drop. I got so much stuff I want to spend red mana on. So, but 7 isn't quite enough to reliably get to these. But if you start thinking about the barbarian and the improvised weaponry, I can probably do it. Rally maneuver is pretty freaking good. Does that mean we just cut the goblins? I don't think so. Not when I've got this dude. Am I supposed to cut one Brunor? Am I supposed to cut the planar ally? Cut the fireball. I don't want to cut the fireball. I think perhaps it's the Armory Veteran. This is still leaving me 5, 6, 7, 8 2-drops, which is an absurd number. And yes, it gets menace from the equipment, but everything else is getting something valuable too. I don't think the fact that it carries equipment well is really a mark in its favor. So I think I'm pretty happy with this. Let's take it out for a spin. Boop. All right, I'll do a quick restart of Arena and then join you guys for round 1. All right, restart successful. We're back and ready for round 1. Fight. I do think we'd like to play first. It's a bit of an ugly hand, but we're either going to draw land to cast Brunor, or 2-drops. Or an equipment, which would be swell. Because we could play that out, then play Brunor, equip it for free, do the thing with the stuff. Aggro, go, go. Yeah, have fun blocking me with that. This card's fair. It's super fair. I'll just attack you with my 6/4 and deal a point of damage to everybody while we're there. There you go. You're at 10. This is a little nuts, but here we are. Don't care about my life total. They're like, finally, got rid of the Brunor. We're safe now. You are not safe. So yeah, red-white equipment, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it looks like. It's pretty good. We've got green-red stuff. They have 2 drops. Must have just drawn them late. I don't think we really have much of a size board for this particular matchup. It's like, which more different 2 drops would you like to bring in? There's an argument that the Valor Singer might be better than a Hulking Bugbear here, because if it enables an attack that we didn't have previously, that would be good. The 3/1s look a little worse against their Rust monster, but obviously with equipment, who cares? I think I might rather have the Half-Elf Monk than the Planar Ally on the draw. I might be crazy there, but I have a suspicion that they stabilize by playing one big thing, like a 7/6 or whatever, and it'd be nice to have a way through it. That's a Gnoll Hunter. You are not ready for this jelly. Got a removal spell? Doesn't look like it. They've got a pair of goblins. All right. Very well. Pair of goblins. Oh. You want to attack now. That's cool. You're thinking you're going to block with that or something? Because you're not. That's not what's happening. This is kind of a brutal start. We ain't even drawn the Brunor. Now they want to block. What happens if I just play this and equip the Boots of Speed to it? I guess I don't even have to do that. I just play it, activate this, and turn everything sideways and see what happens. Because this is here for later with the Dwarf. I mean, they got me. But at what cost? Pair of chump blockers coming right up. Except it's not going to work out for you. We speedy. All right, I guess if you want to speed run your AFR drafts, it appears to not be a bad way to do it. That'll work. I think we need to lead with the Paladin. As, say we draw Mountain and another red 2-drop. That way we could get it all out of our hands. I guess we could still do that anyway, but... I'm thinking the fact that this can get haste later is relevant, but... maybe it's not. I suppose the lifelink is more relevant on turn 2, and the haste is more relevant later. That's all I'm trying to say. So the question at hand is, do I just want to pair goblins here? And I think the answer is yes, because then I can go double 2-drop and then start swinging. Like, that's a board state out of nowhere, and we got a mighty fine combat trick sitting here. Come at me, bro. They don't even have good blocks. The first one gets first strike, and this one gets lifelink. I figure we may as well still use it, keep all of the pressure, deal all of the damage. Yeah. Like, they played around it by not blocking with 2 creatures, and it doesn't matter. That is the way to play around this. If you ever suspect that somebody has a rally maneuver, don't block with 2 creatures. But, like, also don't pass Battlecry Goblins incredibly late if you don't want somebody to do this with them. Seems to be a similar deck to what we played last time. Like, very similar cards, just red-green stuff, I guess. I'm kind of thinking we take the same line. Play the half-elf monk, cut the planar ally. On the draw, see what we're up to. This, not great hand. It got better. But I'm gonna need a few more bodies other than this fella to start getting us cranking. I can take that out, and I'm gonna want to. So we will. I think I go ahead and do it. There's some option to like try and wait and get him to use whatever the ambuscade variant is. Needs 6 power. There's 2, 4, 5, 6. I could get me a free goblin token this turn. I think we're just going to hit with as much as we can. It's a shame I couldn't get it quite to 5 or 6 on its own, but we can next turn. That's a flaming skull. It can't block. So we'll see who would win, one angry goblin or one flaming skull. It would appear to be the Flaming Skull currently. Because right now, we're kind of all dressed up. Actually, that's not fair. We got a pile of clothes and nobody to wear them. We're suffering from some nudity problems here. You'd be worried about the boots more than the rapier. Do you know that? You do not. Okay. Runor go? No. Okay. I think we win this matchup, given enough goes, but we certainly don't win this draw. This is way more land than this deck ever wants. I think this still kills me, right? Because I can hit them for 5, go to 9, and then they're at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, this is exactly still lethal. There's no reason for them to conceivably block this, but I guess I could block. Yeah, I may as well take another draw. We'll at least get to see a different removal spell from their deck, because like attacking doesn't win the game. Alright, I do like our odds better on the play. And I have not seen anything that we would want to tap with the half-elf monk. Like, it's possible they got bigger stuff in the deck. But I think we just go back to the original configuration. Relax. And get our free wins. I believe. Do you believe in life after love, after love, after love? I really do think our deck is strong enough. If y'all like what you see and hear, come by the stream sometime. It's at twitch.tv/Semulin. And if I seem familiar, I used to do videos a long time ago for Mana Deprived. I consider KYT a dear friend. I am sometimes mistaken by non-North Americans as a Canadian, but my accent may give it away that I am actually from the American South. As a hand and a half, it's got the opposite problem, though. Here we're looking to hit a few lands, not whiff. But we do have format-defining All-Star Battlecry Goblin. Are you too proud? Let's see if you're too proud. Too proud. All right, so we don't really have the dice rolling going for this, but getting the haste might be interesting. Heh. It's looking a little less interesting now, let me tell you, because that thing is a pain in my butt. All right, we'll figure it out. I can activate this guy and get an attack in next turn if we need it. And we might. If I don't have anything else to do, that's probably our line. I think this is probably putting us on Brunor territory. If we top deck an equipment, we're in business. If not, we can consider leveling this all the way to full next turn. The Goblin is again enabling some attacks. I think I want to pump this all the way up. We could also look at potentially fireballing this down, but that's not really opening up that many attacks. I could also just attack with Brunor and then let them trade for it and play the other one. But I haven't gotten to play with Barbarian class much. Like, we could at least give something +2/+0 and Menace next turn when we use a Fireball. And there's probably something we'll want to kill. Bring it. All right. So talk to me. They ain't got great blocks if I play the Barbarian, make a treasure, pump, and swing with these two, and potentially Brunor. And I think I like that, because they don't know about the next Brunor. Their 4/1 first strikers look pretty good. I think we trade off the Brunor if they attack. I might should have attacked with it and tried to get them to, like, gang block it. So we blow their mind and trade off Brunor here. They're thinking about not attacking. But that's an attack I'd very much like to have. This is going to look bizarre. That was pretty good. We're now firmly in the behind camp. I don't particularly like that. Because even if I use this Fireball, I can give something +2/+0 in Menace. If we're going to have to trade creatures, which I think we're going to have to trade creatures, I may as well trade the Goblin up. Because I can burn the Owlbear and trade it with the Bard. I think we can still win this. We're just a bit behind. Winging team, eh? Oh, well. Looks like we're probably not going to win this. I was not super impressed with Barbarian class. Good lord! They had some technology for me in the life gain, but yeah, I'd say overall I was not impressed with Barbarian class. I don't think it's necessarily supposed to go here. I think it's supposed to go in a deck that's rolling heavier dice, which is not really what we're doing. But I was thinking the haste might have been useful, but yeah, they just had my number. All right, let's see if we can scrape a 2/1 out of it. I think the first draft I did for face-to-face was an 0-2 or a 1-2. So it'd be nice to at least get a 2/1 out of it. I don't want y'all to think I'm just terrible at this. But I mentioned this in the last one too. I don't like watching videos from people who only post their wins. It makes me feel bad about whatever game I'm playing. I I remember back in the day, I used to watch a lot of Magic videos, and there was one Magic website where they would basically only post wins. And I was like, God, these guys are amazing. And then I figured out what they were doing, and I was like, this sucks. And then I found some content creators that would post all of their games. Like, this is where it's at. I'll try to get the red cards out of our hand. I haven't seen nobody play Monk of the Open Hand yet. So maybe they've got Bahamut or Tiamat or whatever the big Dargon is. That ain't the best use of this spell, but it's good enough. They're clearly thinking about blocking. So their creature's been terminated for free. It neither attacked nor blocked. I do not understand. Okay, again, I think I'm going to go with the red one because I'm a little bit mana deprived, if you will, on the red sources. Also, the secret is multiple open hands. I see now. Trying to aggro me out. I don't want to rally maneuver this turn, but I will if I have to. And I feel like that was a moment worth doing. This does make it a little awkward, but if their plan is to equip here, I can still Dragonfire it. If it's not, it'll be a little tougher to get through, but we can find a way. I wanted to use Dragonfire that turn and the Steadfast Paladin, but I think perhaps we can put them on the defensive and remind them whom is the beat down. Sure, hit me. Still attacking. A bold move, Cotton. You can get your Death Toucher. But at what cost? Okay, apparently not at much cost. I got a plan for him too. It's probably trade-off Brunor. This is an uncommon, right? Yeah, I haven't really seen this much, and I didn't think it was going to be particularly good. It's doing an okay impression of a 1-mana 2/2 currently. Barbarian class is definitely not what I wanted here. Okay. They can get back their other monk, which is not terrible for them. Gotta make the blocks we were planning on making. Ermagerd and Ernikern. Okay, so white mana, not exactly what we were after. But we're kind of doing it. And I suppose there's no reason not to have the land in play. I feel like if we'd hit red mana a little bit sooner, we might be in business here. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I block this and then swing with both of these, they're lethal and they have to block them. Meaning that I'll still have the two 1/1s left over and they'll be at 3, and we've got a 3/3 haster in hand. So I feel like this is okay. I kind of need to know what their last card is, but if it's a land, I could see my way to winning here. That's about how I drew it up. I've been so disappointed with this every time I've drawn it that I may just not want a barbarian class. For some reason I was thinking it could do some work here, but it does not appear to be doing that. Level up. Level up. This has been kind of useless for me. Maybe there's a deck for it out there somewhere. I don't think this is it. Let's get rid of you. I don't need to be a barbarian. Kind of a crappy class anyway. Improvised weaponry looks pretty spicy against them. It kills nearly everything we care about. Well, you say that, and then it doesn't, but it kills some things we care about. Let's just do another one of them. All right, that's another one that feels a little land heavy. But I think we still keep. Aggro decks need to mulligan a little more often than I'm used to. Because I'm kind of on team never mulligan. Because like when you mulligan, you're giving yourself a chance at a worse hand that has one less card. Not a huge fan of that. If you want to dig deep in the archives, you can find an old Men from Moto episode going over the math of why I hate mulliganing and frequently will not do it. I got your number, buddy. That one. Okay. We found something to do with our extra mana. Why doesn't he have a hammer? I feel like it's somewhat disingenuous advertising. Because he's not Brunor Battle Axe. You know? And yeah, I read the books, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, if my last name is Battlehammer and it's time to choose my weapon, I don't think I'm going to be like, maybe I'd like an axe. You know, that's all. Equipment was close to lethal there, but we didn't draw one, and that makes me sad. But I'm not currently ready to improvise weaponry a Monk of the Open Hand. Perhaps I will regret that, but I do not currently. Who's a good cat thing? Okay. Okay. Boop. Boop. Sometimes you just got to flip the table and throw it at them. And that will get you the win. So, upon review of the draft, what do we like, what do we not like? Because especially early in a format, it's important to remember the cards that you liked and didn't like. Battlecry Goblin is unfair. We know that. Hobgoblin Captain's pretty amazing. Plundering Barbarian still, like, impressed me. Rally Maneuver was very good when it was good. Barbarian class kind of disappointed me. I'm not mad, Barbarian class. I'm just disappointed. I thought you could do more. Improvised Weaponry got some work done. It's important to remember that one can go face. But I think those were the big takeaways. Rally Maneuver is pretty much as good as advertised. The longer the format goes, the worse it'll get as people start to play around it a little better. But as I mentioned, the only way to really play around it is to block with only one creature. And if your deck wants to be attacking with tons of creatures, then them only blocking with one creature is great for you. So it gets significantly better there. But I think those were the big takeaways. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to check out the weekly deals here on Face to Face Games. And I will catch you next week. Have a good one, my friends.